Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So today in this particular video, I am going to discuss how you can set up the necessary AWS services which are required to query the data inside Amazon S3 using Amazon Athena. Okay, so AWS S3 or Simple Storage Service is a very popular service with respect to storage in big data domain. It is widely used in different ETL architecture and frequently used as data lake. Okay. Now suppose in your data lake, you want to execute certain query and gather the result set in a CSV file or some file in another S3 location, then you can simply use Amazon Athena, which is one of the very powerful service to query the data present in S3. Okay. So if I give you the definition of Athena, AWS Athena is nothing but a serverless interactive query builder that is designed to run queries across tera or petabytes of data, that is in big data domain. You can easily query the huge volume of data which is residing in S3 using this particular serverless service which is AWS Athena. Okay, right. Now let us try to understand what are the setups required to query the data present in S3 data lake from AWS Athena. Okay, so before going to that, we need to know some prerequisite or some fundamentals theoretical background. So all these things I am going to cover first. Okay, so suppose your data source is AWS S3, which is our data lake. Primarily here some data is there, and on that data we want to execute some queries. Okay, so from this particular data, we need to first create one table inside a database, and for that we will be using AWS Glue service. So there are some particular terminologies or activities happens in AWS Glue. So what are those? I am going to discuss first. Okay. So first what will happen? There is a Glue crawler which will basically crawl this particular S3 data and will try to infer this schema or try to understand the metadata information about the data present in S3. Okay. Once it understands that information, it will write the metadata in Glue catalog. What is Glue catalog? You can simply understand this as a database which contains multiple tables. Okay, that is mixture of database and tables is nothing but Glue catalog. Okay, and then once that table is populated with the metadata information, then we can use that particular table to query the data which is actually residing in S3 from AWS Athena. Okay, so before going to Athena, we need to complete this particular pipeline first. So without any further delay, let us directly jump into AWS Management Console and start the process. Okay, so for this particular discussion purpose, what I require? First, I require some S3 bucket where I need to upload some data for query purpose. Okay, so I will create the bucket that is demo Athena testing with Glue. Some name I am giving. Okay, I am creating this particular one in AWS US East 2 region. Keeping all other properties default, I am creating the bucket. Okay, and now here our bucket is created and we will be going to upload the data. So first let me show you the data. So this is my data, which is one very popular data set, which is called iris dataset, having some information related to iris flowers like sepal length, sepal width, then petal length, petal width, all these things. Okay, so as you can see that here in this particular data, only the first 4 columns are basically double type and last column is basically string type, right? So we'll see how Glue crawler is understanding this particular schema. Okay, so here we'll be going to this S3 and we'll be clicking on upload. We'll be adding the files. Okay, so here I'll be going to my location and here I'll be uploading this particular data set. Okay, so it is uploaded. Cool. Now I'll be going to AWS Management Console and I'll be going to IAM. I need to create a role for Glue. Okay, so that it will be having no access issues. Okay, so here I'll be going to role and here I'll be going to create role and then here I'll be searching Glue. Okay, here I am getting Glue. I'm going to next permission and then here I'll be searching for glue. If you search for glue, here you will be getting some roles related to glue. Okay, right? So for example, if you click on this particular one, AWS glue service role, if you expand this particular one, here in policies you will see that it is having multiple policies. Okay, right? So here if you see that any resource which is having this particular S3 bucket name AWS glue, then hyphen something, that means AWS glue can access all these things. Okay, so I'll be giving this particular one. Not only that, I'll be giving S3 full access separately also, and Athena also. Okay, later we can be fine tuning this particular access, but for the time being I am giving max possible access so that it will be having no issues. Okay, now I'll be going to next glue demo YT. Okay, and here I'll be creating this particular role. So role for glue is created. Now we'll be going to AWS management console in a new tab, and we'll search for glue. Okay, and then here we are getting AWS glue, which is basically serverless ETL tool. Now here we need to create the crawler. Okay, add crawler name demo testing YT. Okay, I'll be clicking on next. Okay, crawler source type data source, crawl all folders. Okay, fine, for the time being I am not changing those. Choose a data source type. So if you want, you can choose S3 or DynamoDB, DocumentDB, MongoDB, or any database which has JDBC connection provided. All this, with all these things you can connect the glue crawler. Okay, right? And then here include path. I'll be including the S3 path. Basically, if I click on that, I can go ahead and choose the S3 location. So for this particular purpose, I am choosing this particular S3 bucket demo Athena testing with glue, and I will select this particular one. I'll be giving one more slash to make sure it will crawl inside this particular bucket. Okay, right? Then I'll click on next. No, I don't want to add some other sources, so I will go to next, and then here choose an existing IAM role. Just now we created glue demo YT. Okay, that one will be choosing. We'll be going to next. Okay, then when you want to run the crawler, try to understand what it means. Sometime it might happen in this data lake, whatever data is present, that schema might change with time. Okay, that time to make your this table metadata in sync, crawler might need to run in a scheduling interface or trigger based approach. But for the time being, I am keeping run on demand, that is manually will run whenever it is required. Then go to next. Okay, then see here in glue catalog, metadata information will be stored in a database, right? So we'll be adding the database. Add database name demo YT Athena testing. Some database name I am giving, and I am clicking on create. Okay, then table prefix. If you want to give certain prefix for your table, you can put that thing, no issue. For the time being I am putting nothing, it is optional stuff. I am going to next, and then here I am clicking on finish. Okay, so here see our crawler is ready. Just select this particular crawler and trigger run crawler. Okay, it is starting. Wait for some time. It will take some time to crawl the data present in S3 or whatever JDBC connections you have provided in that particular database. It will be going, and it will try to infer the schema or capture the metadata information, and it will populate the database table. So to compute this particular process, just give some time. It will be taking, and how much time elapsed also it will be showing here. Okay, if you want with certain time interval, you can keep refreshing. Okay, right? So I'll be starting my video again once the crawl is finished. Okay, so currently it is stopping state, and see now it is ready. Okay, now if you go to data catalog, which is basically contain databases and tables. First let me go to databases and see here demo Athena testing, whatever database we created, it is there. And then here tables inside this particular database, if you search, see here this particular table it is showing. Okay, this is the table for our purpose. And see here location it is showing. Basically it is pointing to this particular S3 location where our data is stored. That is this particular one. Okay, just nothing but acting like a pointer. And classifier it is showing CSV. See, automatically it understood that it is a CSV file. Okay, right? And now we can query that particular CSV file using Athena using the crawler. Okay, right? So here let us go to Athena, and then here see here data source is AWS data catalog. Whatever data catalog is populated using the glue crawler that we are choosing, and database is this particular one, demo Athena testing, because our database is that only, right? And the table whatever having the name it is displaying. Okay, now whatever query you will be running in Athena, that result set it will be trying to store in a S3 location. So that path where the data will be stored, that you can specify. So for example, I want to store in this particular place. Okay, there is S3 then demo Athena testing with 2. I'll be selecting this particular one and I will be saving this. Okay, so once that is done, let me show you that if I refresh this particular place, currently nothing is there. Okay, now what we can do, I can basically here execute some queries. Okay, so here you can see as soon as I am clicking on this particular 3 dot, all these options it is giving. Okay, if I just expand this particular one, see sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, the first 4 columns the glue crawler is inferring as double type, last one is it is inferring as string type, which is perfectly true, right? So maybe I can do select star from, that is this particular table. Okay, demo testing glue. Okay, so if I do, then we will be seeing the whole data, but for the time being let me show you the first top 10 records. Now if I run this particular query, see here it is showing top 10 records. Okay, and the result set it will be storing in S3 as well. So here see unsaved, and then 2021 12 31, and then see here this is the CSV file. Okay, if you want you can download. Not only CSV file it will be storing, it will be storing the metadata information also. Okay, like for example, if I execute that, how many distinct varieties are there in this particular CSV file for ID statement set. Okay, let's see that particular one. Let's run this particular query and see only Virginica, Setosa, and Setosa this is also picking up. I think double quotation is coming somewhere, and then versicolor. Okay, null is also there. So this is kind of data set currently we are having, which is having this kind of value set. Okay, right? And then maybe I can show you here how the data is stored. If I refresh this particular place, see another CSV file just now came. So this is the CSV file which contain the second query result. I can show you by downloading the files as well. So if I open that, see here variety is Virginica, Setosa, and the same Setosa inside double quotation and versicolor. So maybe we need to do some data processing to make sure that these Setosa, this double quotation are getting trimmed in this particular column. Okay, so all these things you can do, but I hope you understood how to basically execute different queries which is used for business analytics on the data which is stored in your S3 data lake. Okay, megabytes, terabytes, petabytes of data in a serverless manner you can query using Amazon Athena. Okay, so today in this particular video we have discussed this particular pipeline. So in S3 some data is stored, we basically ran glue crawler to understand the metadata or infer the schema of that particular data, and then we populated glue data catalog which is basically containing databases and tables, and then we queried using Amazon Athena, right? So I hope you understood this particular pipeline. I'll be showing some more concepts in detail related to this particular tech stack in my upcoming videos. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and comment, subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you.